1, 2, 1, 2.
It's the DJ Reverend Blue Jeans. You're listening to 95.3 FM. This is the darker side. We have Zion I, -1, and the Grouch in the studio right now.
Yeah. What's up, Paul?
What's going on, y'all?
And they're doing a new tour to promote their record, which is Heroes.
In the Healing of the Nation.
And that's a follow-up to their 2006 release, Heroes in the City of Dope, which was dope,
Thank you.
must say. And we're going to talk to them a little bit about the music and about the tour and, what they're doing next. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the record?
Yeah, the record is called Heroes in the Healing of the Nation. The title is basically, it's like the sequel to the first album as far as the title goes. First one was Heroes in the City of Dope, so we're throwing in the nation this time, but the nation really represents the whole universe, and Heroes represents the hero within you, and all of us. Basically, we're trying to say that everybody's a hero or a king or a queen or a god or a goddess. We're all divine beings, basically, and that together we got a lot of power to heal the world.
And so how different is this record from the last one in terms of the message, the sound, what's new, what's staying the same?
I feel like mainly the message, the content lyrically. I mean, we were just a little more focused on giving something uplifting. You know what I'm saying? Like the first record we came together, we just like, let's make some music. On this record, we came together and it's like, man, look at the world. Look what's going on. You know what I'm saying? You got natural disasters left and right. You have economic calamity. You know what I'm saying? You have wars. You have like precious, like oil is about to supposedly run out. So it's all these things on planet Earth going on. We wanted to create something that would create like a bridge for people. You know what I'm saying? Like musically, like a bridge to walk across if you're going through a hard time. Something to listen to, like a soundtrack for some feel good or some upliftment. Or just something to help you keep elevated because we know it's hard. You know what I'm saying? We all feel whatever's happening on this planet, we all feel it, the transitioning. So we just wanted to create something that was going to help people focus on what's good in life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but at the same time, it still slaps. It's still fun to listen to. You know what I mean? We perform it, and the crowd has a party to it every night, and so it's a good time as well. It's just a balance of putting that all in there.
And so can you talk a little bit about the tour, about what you're doing? I heard you're donating a lot of the money that comes from the ticket fees and everything to charities in each town that you're visiting.
Yeah, we're hitting up local nonprofits in each town. And basically, when we came together to make the record, we were like, let's start a nonprofit. And then we were like, okay, we got to record the album. We got our families, you know what I'm saying? So we were like, the next best thing for us was to donate money to local nonprofits and charities in every city we hit up, just basically as a way to give back and to create that that communication, that conversation between like-minded people, more or less. You know what I'm saying? Like when we go and we donate, then these people come. Like who was it last night? I forget what it was.
They were all about health care and helping out people in the community who didn't have enough money to have health care, and so they got to come set up a booth and speak with people who came to the show and make their organization gain a little bit of awareness, you know what I mean, for the people in their own community. And then at the same time, we just got to share that back and forth there at the show. So
it's really just giving back, man, like taking it one step beyond just making music. You know what I'm saying? It's like a step towards being community activists in a way, just trying to empower people that are doing something good where they live, you know what I mean? Because that's what our music is trying to do, so we thought it would be a good idea to just help empower people.
That's great. I know the fans appreciate it. I know everybody you're helping appreciates it.
Right on, man.
And I wanted to know, how has the reception of the tour been so far? People have been pretty pumped?
Yeah, I think we've been having great responses wherever we go. It's like I don't know. I can just see. I can feel the energy. I mean, when you bring a positive energy, I don't want to overuse that word too much, but that's what we're doing. We're bringing a positive energy, and we're creating it, and we're sharing it, and we're building it with the people in the room. You know what I mean? They're giving some of their energy. We're giving it back, and it's all there's. It's not a bunch of nonsense. It's all for something that means something. You know what I mean? And it creates a feeling in the room that everybody feels good and can benefit from. So I think it's been a really great response, and everybody is, they like the music.
Yeah, and at the same time, it's like we're still coming hard. The beats are going in. We got a live horn section. We got a drummer with us, so we've added a couple different elements, like of a live band with, amp live behind the boards and everything. So the show has been sick, man. It's like we're kind of fusing a couple different things and adding some elements. So I think it's even a little bigger than it usually is.
I do too. I also want to say that I think it's not a new concept to us. It might be a different explanation, but I almost feel like you could call this album could have came before last album, and I mean, not exactly, but last album we're saying the same things. You know what I mean? We're just saying them to, in a time. Basically, we're just speaking to this time right now, what's going on right now. You know what I mean? But a lot of the topics and the ideas are similar from the last one. And the music is more advanced. But I don't know, man. It's just it's a dope record.
So how do you guys meet? I know you're both from the Bay Area, right?
Yeah.
How did you end up meeting? Because I've been listening. Probably first time I heard you together was Silly Putty.
Well, that was the first time we made anything together. Yeah.
How did you decide to make a record in 2006 together? Or 05?
Well, we met, I think, just doing shows around the Bay Area, just independent hip hop cats, and just what I'm saying. I heard Grouch's a couple of his early albums, and I just appreciated where he's coming from lyrically. Like I felt like it was honest and sincere, and I didn't. A lot of MCs out there, man. A lot of people just sound like they talking. You know what I'm saying? And what stood out to me about Grouch was that it seemed like he was actually communicating about his life, and I could kind of see through his little window, and I thought that was dope. So we invited him to be on our first album, Mind Over Matter, and the song was Silly Putty. We did that song, and we go on the road, and people were like, yo, I heard about you through Silly Putty. So we were like, okay, that must be the jam. Then like 3 years later, people were like, yo, where's Grouch? Silly Putty, Silly Putty, Silly Putty. We were like, yo, we should make an album, because that song was just it just resonated with people so much. And then we did another album, Deepwater Slang. We did a song, Flow. People liked that song too. So it was kind of a no-brainer for us to just create a whole project together, because we're like-minded, you know what I'm saying? We're all about quality music and, like integrity in the verses, you know what I'm saying? So it just seemed like something that was natural. It seemed like the fans were demanding it almost more than even we thought about it. Like the fans were asking for something, and we just kind of fulfilled that, and I'm glad we did it, because it's created this relationship between the two of us where it's like, our minds are in the same place. And I think it's critical, man. Like, looking at the planet, like I said earlier, right now, I feel like it's very important for people with like minds to get together and work. You know what I'm saying? Because in my estimation, it's like the planet seems to be splitting. It's like either you're evolving or you're devolving. Like, everything's exponential right now, from music, the internet, to, governments toppling over all across the Middle East. It's like there's something in the air where it's important for people to work together. You know what I'm saying? And I think this is like a symbol of that for us in our little way. You know what I'm saying? We're not on TV. We're not politicians. But we do it in our way of what we love to do. So I feel like this album, this collaboration, is just like a symbol of what's happening.
So what prompted you guys to make another album together? Was it critical response, fan response? Did you just want to make another album together?
Yeah, mostly I think we wanted to make another album together. And it was like good timing. I don't know. I just think it was that time. It feels like that, and they felt like it. They had a time window and that was open, and I did too, and we just got together. They came out to Hawaii, where I live, and we got to chill and hang out and discuss things and made music from there.
Did you take any different approaches when you started the second album? I know you got a lot of new features on this album, different artists working with you.
Yeah. The process was pretty much the same, the process of making it. The energy may be a little different, just a little bit of different space. But I feel like, we just sat down. We sat down just like we did on the first album. We said, what do we want to do? And we thought about it, and we said, we want to create this kind of energy. And then we said, okay. Then we came with the title. And then we recorded the first song. It's the same thing, you know what I'm saying? We got up. Last time he came to Oakland, and we recorded a bunch of songs in like different spurts. This time we went out to Hawaii, where he lives, and recorded a bunch of songs. And then he came back out to Oakland and recorded some more. So it's pretty much the same process.
Who's your favorite artist to work with? I know you've got Brother Ali, Fashawn is on this album. Who is I don't know. I don't
On
want to
this
make you
record?
guys. Yeah, on this record, I don't want to make you guys play favorites or anything. But who's the most interesting, fun to work with that you didn't work with before?
I thought it was interesting that we had a collaboration with Roy Ayers because he's I grew up semi on him. Like I didn't grow up with jazz music like that, but when everybody started sampling jazz in the '80s, like Gangstar and like Tribe Called Quest, it introduced me to jazz, and Roy Ayers was one of those dudes where I was like, whoa, who is this cat? And then to have him on our record now, it's just a trip that he appreciates hip hop. He knows the power of it and recognizes it. So it was interesting that Grouch's idea was to redo Ed O.G. Shout out, Ed O.G. from Boston. He did Be a Father to Your Child. He wanted to redo that because we all have children now. And it was a trip that Roy Ayers was like, yeah, I want to get on the song. So for me, that was like an interesting collabo right there.
Yeah, that was real big. And also for me, I like having Casual on the album because I sat in a high school class with Casual. I grew up, just going to school with him a little bit, and I watched him as High Road succeed on record labels and stuff right before I really got into my thing. And I've never really been on a song with him, so to have him on this record finally after all this time, it was way overdue. And I think he killed his verse too.
So I really wanted to ask you, that was actually probably my favorite track off the new album, was the Be a Father to Your Child.
Okay.
Because I'm from Boston, love Ed O.G., of course. I was wondering if you guys had, any aspirations to work with any other, or I guess you didn't work with them, but to work with hip-hop artists from Boston, or if you had any favorite hip-hop artists from Boston you wanted to talk a little bit about.
Man, the homies Mr. Lift, man. I still haven't done a song with this cat. I don't know how. We've been talking about doing music for the last 4 or 5 years. I don't know why we haven't done nothing. Lift, if you tuned in, man, come on, man. Time is overdue. Also, shout out to Acrobatic. It's a good cat. We went on tour in Europe a couple years back.
I actually have a song with Mr. Lift that's coming out. Hednotic from Crown City is doing a compilation. I think it's me, Mr. Lift, and Gift of Gab, I think, yeah.
Sweet.
Also, man, shout out to Mo Pope, man, from Megaphone. That's the homie, too.
Can you guys talk a little bit about the production of this album? I know Amp's doing most of the production, but are there featured producers? I think I saw Eli was doing a track. Where's that coming from?
Eli did one track. Amp did the rest, pretty much. I don't know. When I get together and we do this Zion and Grouch collaboration, I'm just I'm a big fan of Amp Live's production. So I'm when we first started, Amp was giving us beat CDs of other people. And I'm like, Amp, dude, where are the Amp beats? You know what I mean? He's like, oh, well, I'm in the middle of this project. Why don't you listen to these beats? They're pretty dope, And I'm like, man, nah, dude. Give us the Amp Live beats, And so, of course, at first I listened to the CDs he gave me of other people, and I'm like, yeah, these are cool. But then when he finally kicked in with the Amp Live beats, I'm like, okay, there it goes. You know what I mean? I like that one and that one and that one and that one. Let's write to those. And every time he produces something and actually gives it to us so that we can hear it, because a lot of times he's almost shy about giving up his stuff unless it's already at a certain level that he wants to let people hear it at, And even when I hear a skeleton of his, I'm already like, oh, that's dope. I can tell where it's going to go from here, So I don't know. I'm just always into rapping to as many Amp Live beats as I can when I get the chance, to tell you the truth. But then Eli sent over some stuff, and I'm like, okay, that one's dope. We got to use that. And Zumbi was feeling it as well. I haven't been producing for a while, so I was just I didn't put anything on this one. That was pretty much it. We had what we needed.
Well, it worked out well. Sounds great.
Thank you.
Everybody here loves it. I had a couple more questions I want to ask you guys. One was just about, we asked this question to every artist who comes in the studio. It's about your lyrical influences. Who do you listen to growing up? Who still influences you today? Where do you get your inspiration from?
Grew up listening to Rakim, was a big influence for me. Nas, like I said earlier, Tribe Called Quest, KRS-One. A lot of the golden age, you know what I mean? And then newer cats, I really my favorite rap group is Outkast, Tupac, Biggie, the classics. But today, my influences, I don't know, man. Since we do hip-hop music, I try to go outside of hip-hop because I don't want to, like, you know what I mean? When you listen to something so much, you just kind of unconsciously start to mimic it somehow. So I like to go outside of hip-hop. I like Bad Brains, Santo Gold. I listen to blues, Bob Marley, John Coltrane, stuff that just gives me a feeling. For me, music is about the emotion, and it's not really about whatever style or genre. It's just if I can catch a feeling to it. That's what motivates my lyrics. And then just looking at the world, really.
Yeah, I grew up in Oakland, California, so of course Too Short was like one of the first rappers that I really got into. And then, I listened to everybody, though. When Tribe Called Quest and De La Soul started going, I was real into that, and Hieroglyphics, of course. Raphael Sadiq, Fela Kuti, that's the kind of stuff I listen to now, usually. A lot of reggae. Live in Hawaii, so I just play reggae or a bunch of kids' songs. I mean, to be honest, I have a 4.5-year-old daughter, and she kind of like runs the radio in the car, so it's like whatever she's listening to, I hear a lot of creative things that I'm like getting inspired by right about now.
And so, what are your favorite tracks off of the new album?
I really don't know, man. I'm not like a favorite type of guy, but I would just say my standout tracks on the record are, I'd say Rocket Man and Healing of the Nation.
I like Test of Time with Marty James. I just like his chorus. It's so hard to me. That's the one Eli produced. Yeah. But I also like Drop It on the One.
And so what's on deck for you guys after you finish the tour? Maybe you're not thinking this far ahead. Maybe you are. More collaborations, solo albums, more work with?
I mean, we're just in the van rolling and just talking about doing some more, like a short project of more Zionine and the Grouch for like the fall or something, maybe early next year. I'm not sure. I know Amp and I were talking about, working on some more Zionine music, of course. I'm about to drop this mixtape, just like give it out for free. Just me, just throw some stuff out there. But you know what I'm saying? Being an independent artist these days, man, you got to really work, man. Like back in the day when we first started, you could do a project, chill for 2 years, and drop another album, and it's all good. Now it's like, if you fade away for like 3-4 months, people's attention span is so short that it's like you kind of got to build momentum back up just to, I'm here again. You know what I'm saying? So we're just going to keep working on music, man. You should hear a lot more coming from the camp, definitely.
All right, I'm going to ask one question. So what do you guys think of Odd Future? They've taken the station by storm.
We're gonna,
a lot of people.
Chop this up real heavy. No,
do it.
Should we? What do you think? I'm going to let you go first, man.
I mean, I think Odd Future is like, to be honest, I see a lot of similarities between Odd Future and early Living Legends, to tell you the truth. And I think they're like embracing this whole do-it-yourself movement, but they're using the technology that's out there right now, and to the fullest extent. Their show, and I'm not trying to say that Living Legends is exactly like what Odd Future was, and it's two totally different groups. And I realize that I feel like Odd Future is just doing it a little bit more intensified now. I mean, I see a bunch of different groups that they're pulling from. Wu-Tang, Living Legends.
Gravediggers. Somewhat.
Exactly.
You guys think they sound like A$AP Rock at all? You get that? I
get
could, serious A$AP Rock vibes off them.
When you say that, yes, but I never thought about that.
Yeah, I don't know their music enough. I'm just talking about more their come up, their whole get down, the way they're approaching the music. You know what I mean? I look at the short YouTube videos like I do when we were making 4-track recordings. Just kind of like, this is my shit. I'm throwing it out there, and this is how it is. You know what I mean? And they're just like building this cult following, and the whole like fuck everybody, fuck the industry. You know what I mean? We're independent as fuck. That's like what we were saying when we were that young. It's kind of like punk rock as well. Like a punk rock. I don't give a fuck about anybody else attitude. So
yeah, we got to see him at South by Southwest, and I was very interested because I got hip to him before they blew up. Because I think Grouch was the first one who told me about him. He's like, Odd Future. I was like, what is that, man? It's like, yo, these kids are ill. You got to check it out. So I'm on YouTube, and I'm like, what is this? I'm watching these cats pour, like, weed and drink and pills into this blender and drink it and pull out teeth, and there's blood on the shirt. And I'm like, what is this? You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't really get to see, like, especially young African-American kids. They like skaters, though, but they're skaters, but they're black, and instead of black skaters. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like they have this like wild energy that you haven't really seen for a while. So I was very captivated by it, and I checked out a lot of the stuff, and I hear it, and there's certain elements of it I really like. The creativity of it I really appreciate, and there's certain elements of it I'm like, I don't really get it. You know what I'm saying? Like personally for me, like the 666 thing, I'm not feeling that, man. Like I don't know. I'm on the radio talking to people, but that's just me though, because I'm a conscientious person. The 666, the devil, 18 breaths a minute, being in your animal self. That's not something I vibe to. But the creativity side of it, I vibe to it. So for me, it's more about watching these cats and see where their evolution takes them. Like what they're gonna do, what the album's gonna sound like. Because the shock rap thing for me is not really my steez. Like I've grown up in hip hop. I've been a fan of hip hop for so long. I've seen so many different things. I remember Onyx, pull your guns in the air, and everybody's going crazy. And then 2-3 years later, like nobody's tripping because it's like it didn't really go anywhere. You know what I'm saying? I want to see these cats take it from where it is and then elevate, because obviously they're highly creative and intelligent people, but I just want to see what happens next. That's what my vibe is on it. But I'm really feeling Frank Ocean, actually, the R&B dude out the crew. I like his stuff.
Thank you for coming in, guys. We love you. We love your music. It's really dope, and we'll be playing it all weekend.
Bless up.
Thank you.
Man, Zion and the Grouch, Heroes in the Healing of the Nation. Shout out to Harvard, man. Check out our website, zionandthegrouch.com. Shout out to Boston, always shows us love.
Thank you for listening to our music and supporting it. We've been doing independent hip-hop music for 15 years strong, and it's just a blessing to be doing what we love to do, and thank you for supporting it.